Well, this morning we continue to answer questions that you have given us on the text line with the help of registered psychologist Tammy Schamuhn. She's also the co-founder of the Institute of Child Psychology and co-author of the Parenting Handbook. So Tammy, thanks so much for coming in. We got this text message from Richard. He says his son's grade 2 teacher says he's not progressing at a normal level for reading and writing, indicators of dyslexia here, and he wants to know at what point do they get him assessed and how can they help when he's not formally been diagnosed? Pretty complex question here.
Yeah, and first and foremost, I'm glad this dad is asking questions now because of the age of this child. At this age, especially between about 4 and 8, early interventions are really key. And I want them to trust the teachers, that the teachers know what they're doing. They've flagged this, so that's really great that this teacher is identifying this. Now, depending on the school system, he might be on the list to maybe get assessed, might not be. Sometimes there's a 2-year wait list. But what's really important, and I spoke with one of the lead educational psychologists in the city, Dr. Amber Gear, about this. We had a good talk yesterday, so I want to give you the right advice here, is that typically we want 6 months of targeted interventions before we get an assessment to get a diagnosis. Okay. That includes things like phonological awareness, fluency, decoding, those kinds of skills. The school hopefully can do those 6 months of targeted interventions first and then the assessment. However, parents can go the assessment route with a private psychologist first. Okay. And if they want the targeted interventions first, they can go, if the school can't do the reading pull-out or work with well, we don't have a lot of EAs right now, so that might be an issue here. Yes. Is they can go to Kumon or they can go to Sylvan Learning. Or what I did, because my daughter has a learning disability, so in math, we got a tutor that is a former teacher. So if you get a tutor, try to get one who's a sub-teacher or is like a retired teacher. They know what they're doing and they know how to implement interventions, and then you can do the assessment. But the sooner we intervene with this kiddo, the better the outcomes, especially for dyslexia. Okay, there you go. And Richard had said he's working 4 to 5 times a week on their own, on reading and writing, so that they can get help this way too. But I want to say that if any parents aren't sure where to send their kiddos for assessments, you can email info@instituteofchildpsychology.com. I have a list of credible psychologists. They're not all credible. I want to be clear. Sure. They're not all created equal here. We have a list for you if they want that. And you can also go to the University of Alberta, the educational psychology. They'll do subsidized assessments. Or call a private clinic in Edmonton and ask for a student, because the assessments are expensive. They can run about $2,500 privately. Okay. So if you ask us if they have a student who does it, they're under supervision of a registered psychologist, it can be much more affordable for parents. Okay, there you go. It can be tricky to navigate, but there are certainly people out there who can and are willing to help you. If you've got more text questions for our psychologist, we'd love to hear them. You can text us at 10400. We've got the expert right here. And as you heard, we'll also go seek out other experts to find the right advice for you. Tammy, we always appreciate your insight here on CTV Morning Live. Thank you. Thanks so much for coming in. Now, Tammy has been working with the Institute of Child Psychology. You can go to, as she mentioned, instituteofchildpsychology.com. And as always, you can text us at 10400. We'd love to hear your questions.